Hello, everybody. It is June 1st. I decided to do another update since I had quite a few trades close out. So this stream will be, we'll go over current trades that have just closed out, what the plan is for tomorrow, and how much profit I made this week and this month overall. And then we'll go over some of the questions that were asked in the my last two videos, and hopefully can get those answered over today's video. So I'm still a bit sick, unfortunately. It's still in my hotel. I don't leave till tomorrow morning, so I won't be doing an update tomorrow, likely. So I'm hoping that I can get to enough to today. All right. So also for those that gave me some thumbs down on the last two videos, let me know what I can do better. I'm still trying to improve the stream. I want to explain to you why I do the things I do. Maybe I'm not doing a good enough job, or maybe you just disagree with how I trade in general. So let me know in the comments, because I love the feedback, and I love answering questions the best way I can as well. All right. So today's trades, we have trade 1 and profit 108. Trade 2, profit here, which is, it's saying 136, but I'll get into why it's saying 136. It was actually about 105 or close to that. It's because I also did a scalp, and it's reading the scalp in at the same time. So let's talk about the first entry. You can see that there was a push down here from the bottom to the top. It's roughly about 300 pips or so. This was a very big volatile push. And my system, or my algorithm, tries to capture when these pushes start to slow. And in this case, it was the inside candle setup here, and then the entry right after that. So my system tries to capture that pullback, and I'm only looking for 50 to 60 pips on that pullback. And you can see that was a very clean trade on the first one. So for those that want to know my actual setup, I'm using this RMI indicator, looking for the price to be above 70. So this is my filter. This is my filter system. It allows me to take trades only in extreme conditions. So I want to see this break well past the 70 before I enter any short positions, because that gives me a better chance that this movement, this initial movement, is either slowing or stopping completely. Excuse me. So, and that worked out very well for me. The next setup was also an inside candle setup. In this pullback, so the pullback initially from here to this point was much larger than I thought it would be. I thought it might actually turn here and end up going back up there. That didn't happen. And then, we did have a, excuse me, we did have an inside candle setup here that allowed me to take another position and write this one out for another 50 to 60 pips. So no drawdown on both these trades. Maybe a slight amount on the first one. That was about 20 pips drawn on the first trade. So I'm going to scroll down to the M5. The M5 shows me a little bit better of the take profit. So yes, the second trade, so this one here, which was taken by my algorithm, about 55, 60 pips profit, came out with $107.38. So just a few minutes ago, I actually took a scalp. I took a scalping trade, and it's a little hard to see because of the numbers on the chart, showing you the profit. But this was the inside candle that I was looking at. I saw this candle, which was a decent movement, or decent volatility in this candle, and so I took the entry right after that, looking for about 8 pips profit. So it was a small scalp, which gave me roughly $29. and that was pretty instant. That trade only lasted about 5 minutes. So sometimes I'll do that here and there if I have time, like I do this morning. I don't head out for the day for another hour or so. This video will be posted later today since I have such a slow internet in this hotel. All right. So very good trades. Overall account profit, which I'm going to go over now, is looking very good for this week. One of my best weeks in a long time. As you can see here, 501 pips, $1,066, 4.1%, and so far this year, so since I opened the account on the 23rd of May, I've had 763 pips, $1,650 profit, and 6.35%. Max drawdown on this account I think has been pretty low. I'm going to try to see if I can find that now. Sorry. Okay, so I believe it's right here. Okay, so yes, this is my account that I've been showing, and it was updated 4 minutes ago. And this is what we're looking at: 6.7% profit. You can see all the same stats that I just mentioned, and looking very good. But the thing that we would like to look at is this. That's a 6.6% drawdown with the profit that I've already received. I feel like the numbers are spot on. This drawdown number will likely increase over time, but hopefully it will be controlled. I have done tests to help with that, keeping my drawdown in most cases below 20 to 30% in the worst case scenarios. Okay, so profit's looking very good this week in this month. And I don't think I'll have a whole lot more trades in the next 24 to 48 hours before the week closes out. So you guys, a lot of you are uncomfortable with sometimes how many trades I do in one basket, and maybe you think that the system or the setup that I use may not be that accurate. But this kind of shows you that the methodology behind the system can work very well, and I think that this is a testament of it today. That we have one trade, straight profit, second trade, straight profit. Sometimes that happens, and if your methodology is good, then you should have trades like that. And when my money management takes over, it's on the trades that have multiple orders, and it's more about the money management side than the actual trade setup. So in this case, for example, we had money management pretty much taking over this trade to help in the best way it can to get me out of the position in small profit or break even. And but I had to be very careful of how I approached situations like this with my money management. I have to make sure that my risk per trade is very small, because if it's too large, then this kind of setup or these 10 trades could really affect my account, giving me huge drawdown. It wouldn't make a lot of sense. So that's why this whole drawdown was only 5% drawdown. And I ended up coming out in pretty good profit. So excuse me. Okay, so that's what's happened overall for this week. We've had some good trades, we've had some not so good trades, but overall, because I have solid money management, I've been able to come out with profit on just about every single position that I or basket position that I've had. So let's answer some questions now. So we have a question from CV. Now it's pretty long, so I'm going to try to just paraphrase it. He's asking that, and you can read it here if you want during the video, but he's wondering about more confirmation on my trades. That maybe would be wise for me to have multiple indicators showing me that the entries that I'm taking are valid, and that's a good pointer, good advice. But CV, it's not. It may not be necessary, and I'm going to try to get into that why. Let's take, for example, a system that has 5 indicators and a system that uses 1 indicator. The system that has 1 indicator is giving you a signal for an entry, a buy entry. The system with 5 indicators is also giving you a buy entry as well at the same location. Now, if you're looking at these two systems, you would think, well, if 5 indicators are showing me that this is a good trade setup, then I'll take the trade setup on the system that's showing me that that has the 5 indicators. It's more valid, right? It means that there's multiple indicators telling me that this is a good trade. But I'm here to tell you that there's not much difference, because just because a system that has 5 indicators is telling you that there is a trade doesn't mean it's necessarily more valid or more likely to go in that intended direction. So in the end, those two systems, the one that has the 1 indicator and one that has the 5 indicators, they can both be just as valid on the setup. And the reason why is because indicators, almost all of them are lagging, and they're always lagging behind what the most important thing is which is the actual price and the candlesticks. And so more indicators overall, in my opinion, is not necessarily a better option. And having a filter for your system is important, like you're saying, and that's one thing that I do have for mine. That is the RMI indicator, showing me that I want the price to be overbought, oversold in extreme conditions in order for me to start taking trades. So overall, it has to be above the 70 level for me to take short positions, and it has to be below the 30 level in order for me to take long positions. And that is my filter, and that's the only filter I feel like I need for this kind of system. And it has been working well. It tests well. So if you have a system that uses 5 indicators, but it tests well over a long period of time, just because it has 5 indicators doesn't mean it's less valid, but you can still get the same kind of performance with a system that only has 1. It just depends on how good that system works with price action. How early are you entering trades? Are you getting faked out on entries where it's not, where it's a setup that goes against goes into drawdown right away? Like a false setup is what I guess what I'm trying to get at. So it's difficult to know what path is the right one, and I understand why you're asking these questions. And that's the problem with profitable traders, is that most of them don't tell you how they profit. And actually, I feel like a lot of them don't even realize why they're profitable. I know that discretion is a pretty big thing in trading, and many traders will say that the reason why they're profitable is because of their discretion. And some will say, oh, it's because I trend trade. But how I trade is I basically break every rule in the book, because I am a counter trend trader, I'm a basket trader, and my stop losses are larger than my take profits. And that's one of the reasons why I do this video series, and I've done my streams in the past, is to show people that the ordinary way of trading is not necessarily the best way. There are different ways that you can become profitable. And just because you read some book told you to trade a certain way doesn't mean that you should take it as gold and basically do everything that book said to the T, because that might not be an effective way to trade overall, or it may not be the best way to trade overall, especially for your personality. Like my type of trading, and this could be the reason why I've gotten some thumbs down on my videos in the past, is because a lot of people don't agree with the way I trade. I think it's too risky, unethical, and not profitable in the long term. And I've showed so many different tests. I've been trading for so many months now that shows that this type of trading is profitable and can be in the future as well. And the reason why is because I've done so much research on this type of trading. And a lot of people will say, well, if you've based your system off of past history and how it's worked for the last 25 years, that's great, but it's not very valuable, because what's happened over the last 25 years doesn't mean that that same kind of price movement isn't gonna happen the next 25 years. That's very true, and I've taken that into consideration. But if you look at all the indicators, the systems that you're using, the indicators that you're using, all those things were built based on what's happening in previous price, and in what may happen in the future. So all we have to go on is what's happened in the past to gauge how to find that edge in the market. So I guess it's kind of a double-edged sword, is that there are weaknesses and drawbacks to finding a system that works, because it may not work in the future. But what else do we really have to go on? We have discretion. Discretion's a big thing, and my algorithm doesn't necessarily use discretion as a tool. But I've shown that discretion can somewhat be implemented with a certain filter system, and that is the above the 70 and below the 30 on the RMI. It helps me gauge when price will, after price moves in a volatile direction for a certain amount of pips, and it helps me, I guess, filter out when a good entry should be taken. All right, so CV, I hope that answers your question a bit, because many people have said that there's no right way to trade, but there is a right way to use money management, and that may be the most difficult thing to actually figure out, because there are so many different money management techniques. But as long as you're staying within a certain amount of drawdown, so the best way to gauge what your money management should be, or risk management, is if you do some tests, either visually or with the strategy tester, try to gauge what will keep you under a 15 to maximum 30% drawdown of the account before you even start calculating the potential profit. This will help you protect your account before looking at profit expectations. And protecting your account is much more important than how much profit you're making. I've always been like that. Safety first, pretty much. So there was one more question. This one's from Norbert. He says, yes, basically no right way to trade, which I just talked about, but you have to do money management the right way. So your position sizes have to be right to your balance. And Norbert brings up good points there, and I agree with him. But these things are easier said than done. And the reason why is because the money management question is so difficult to figure out what works for your account. And there is a lot of trial and error. And that's why I recommend using demo accounts to see if you can better gauge how much risk your strategy or system will give you. So your position sizes have to be right for your balance. And that also goes with trial and error and testing. You can visually backtest to see what potential drawdown or losses that you would accept. Most people that I know of trade with direct stop losses, where they won't basket trade. I find that it's hard to find strategies that don't basket trade that are profitable long term. And the reason why is because you'll see a strategy. Let me see if I can. You'll see a stop loss strategy that has basically one trade, so no basket trade. So it's basically like a system that has like a 50 pip stop loss and a 50 pip take profit. You know that you'll have multiple losses potentially in a row and multiple profits. So your account will look something like this. This is the hope, right? Something like that, that your losses, your losing streaks, are made up in the profitable trades. It's difficult to find a strategy like that because when you have losing trades, you're hoping for those winners to, I guess, take over those losses or make up those losses. It can be a little bit nerve-wracking. So the traders that I know of, and I know a few of them, and most of the profitable ones basket trade in some form, and I think that is something that you should look into. So CV was mentioning that I should try, and I think it was something like I should try martingale. He used the word martingale. And just to clear up what martingale is for you guys, I've mentioned it before, is when order 1, for example, is, let's say it's 0.1 lots. Order 2 is 0.2. Order 3 is 0.4. And so on and so forth. Excuse me? And that is martingale. But this isn't martingale because we're using the same risk at 0.1 for every single position. That's called basket trading. All right, so hopefully that clears up martingale, because no martingale systems work. You should try to distinguish the difference between martingale, semi-martingale, and basket trading. They're all very different, and it's very rare cases do a semi-martingale systems work. Or martingale systems work. They have to be very low risk in order to have any potential for profit in the longer term. So guys, I hope that this video helps in some way. This is probably the last video that I'll do this week. I'll pick things up probably on Monday or Tuesday, depending on what the trade situation looks like. And I hope that you have a good weekend and you come out with some decent profit. And let me know if you have any comments. I like to answer them in the videos that I share. I'm probably going to list this video. Start listing them again on Forex Factory to get some more people involved, just so we can continue this education to help you guys understand how I trade. And your questions help me as well. I learn new things, new techniques, new ways of explaining and exploring strategies, and new edges as well. So not only am I trying to help you guys, but you can also do that as well for me. So I guess that's it. So have a great weekend, and see you next time.